Well, so then let's start our meeting. So we have a very special company with us here today, and I never knew how to pronounce it correctly. Can you?
Right. It's Bliive, yes,
Bliive.
as the
That's
verb,
exactly
but
what I thought, but it's a strange spelling, so I wasn't sure
yes.
100%.
Yeah, so that's a great question actually, because I actually can get started explaining the brand and how we came up with the name. So Believe comes, actually the name of the company comes actually from believing, right? And our platform makes money the common currency for equality, right? So we are always talking about time credit and having credit to be able to exchange with other people. And the word credit in Latin comes from believe. So when you believe in something, you have credit. So that's how we came up with the name. And of course, we played with the E's, with actually the I's, which are two people exchanging. So that's where we came up with the name, because we truly believe that we can make time as the common currency for equality.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Very interesting, right? So, yeah, it's a good explanation of our brand. And right now, at this moment, we are also revisiting the brand and how we are going to position ourselves. So it's also very important for us to explain what we do and why we do it.
Yeah. Nice. For us also, it's a very special meeting today because it's the first time Bliive participates in X-Culture. One of the big challenges we have is that we receive not only many applications, but also pretty much all the companies that participated in the past want to participate again. And so as a result, we wanted to have about 5 companies, but then about a dozen of old-timers came back and I couldn't say no to them because we kind of become friends. But we always try to add at least a few new companies. And so Bliive is one of them. And so while most of the companies have had multiple webinars last semester or over the years, so with Bliive, that's the very first meeting with us. So any questions, guys, you have, now is your opportunity. But yes, I think, so Mariana, if you would like to then proceed with a quick overview of the company, whichever way you want, and then we will start asking questions after your short presentation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
So yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here, on the other side of the table, because actually last 2 semesters, I was one of the X-Culture students through Florida Atlantic University, and I will be joining you guys in Nashville in a month from now, exactly in a month, right? I'll be there. So I really love to be a student, and at that moment when I was doing my challenge, working with my team, I could see the potential. And that moment, Bliive was in a very different moment where we were looking for our new seed round, and we were moving to the US, incorporating the US. So everything was moving really quickly. And that's when I saw the perfect opportunity for us to be able to be part of the X-Culture project, because everything that you guys do is exactly what we believe in. We really want to be a global platform that can help so many different nations and so many different companies. So in terms of our values, of our vision, that's exactly what we want to be doing. So it's really, really interesting for me to be here. So I do understand the students. So any questions that they have, they can ask. They can definitely ask, and I will be here for sure. So what I wanted to do actually is just to go through some of the key points that I shared in the challenge, just to make sure that people understand the platform and what we do, because it's not a new concept. Time banking it's not a new concept, but the way we are using it and translating it into a scalable platform that can be used in so many different ways, this is new. So people definitely ask lots of questions about what is Bliive, what we actually do, how it works. So that's why I really wanted to go through a quick overview. But I just can't share my screen now. So it seems
so
like
you wouldn't want to share the screen, or
I just wanted to share my it's a host disabled participant screen sharing.
Let me see. So let me see if I can change the settings there, because it should be working. So I don't know why.
Okay.
Let me see if there is a let me see if I can change your role to host, if that will solve the problem.
Okay.
Is it now
Who
working?
can share? Yeah.
Because I think your role was panelists. Now it should be a host.
I can be who can share all panelists, and then I can share, and then you will be the host.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Because it seems like it would allow me to do that.
Okay, I can do that now.
If you would like to send me the slides, I can share it from my screen if that helps.
I can share now.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's working. Okay. Okay, we can see the slides. Yes.
Okay, can you see the slides? Perfect.
Yeah, as always, for some reason, it's not showing the presentation view, but it's showing the slide view. But still, the main slide is taking most of the area, so it should be fine.
Like this? Can you see the slide now?
I see the slide, but sometimes when you switch to the presentation mode, for some reason, Zoom keeps showing the kind of the slide view. But it's perfectly fine. It's still the main slide on the screen, so it's not a problem. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So this is our main question, right? And we ask ourselves this question all the time: what if we could make time the common currency for equality? We here in this group, we come from so many different countries. I am Brazilian. I live in the US, and I come from a reality where people just don't have purchasing power, and this is one of the main problems that we face. And how many other nations or communities are suffering the same? We see the same problems here in the US, believe it or not. So we can see this in developed countries as well, not only emerging or frontier economies. So that's the question that was always in our heads when we created the company. Lohana, who is the CEO, she lived in two very different realities. She was born in Bahia in Brazil, which is a very poor neighborhood, a very poor place, but she was raised in the South, which is one of the best places in Brazil. And she was always asking, why do people have to be limited by their purchasing power to be able to do whatever they want to do? And she always thought about an example. So she would be great in math, for example, but she didn't have a bike to ride. So she knew a person that would have a bike for her to ride, but they didn't have the paper, which was the money to exchange, so that she could buy or rent the bike. Right. And then she could just offer something else. So that's how the idea came up, right? And then she started to do some research in terms of solutions for this problem. And then that's how she found the concept of time banking, which is the creation of a bank where people just add time to it without a currency. And that's why we are doing this differently. But it's a place where people can exchange services and experiences and even products just by sharing their time as well. So that's the main question that you guys who are working on the challenge can definitely think about. And especially when thinking about a solution and how Bliive can be applicable to other communities and also companies. So our solution was really to create a platform that could allow time banking to be scalable. And that's where we are very different than any other company that has been using time banking as a concept too. Our mission is really to empower and inspire people to live new experiences every hour at a time. There is a number that is really important for us, that we know that there is actually more than 3 trillion hours of idle hours available in the world. So there is a lot of time available in the world, even though you guys say that you don't have time, but actually we do have a lot of time. Every time we wake up, we are granted 24 new hours of time every single day. So it's while we are still alive, of course, that's a resource that's always available for us. And that's not like money or any other kind of resource. So our goals is really to create a collaborative exchange of value within companies, universities, and NGOs. That's mostly where we are focusing on. So if you think about target audiences, we are talking about corporations, universities, and also NGOs, by creating a tool for productivity, innovation, and employees' insight. And our main values are trust, commitment, and quality, because we've learned that along the time, if you don't have trust, if you don't trust the other person, if you don't have commitment, And if you don't provide quality in the service or exchange you have, then the other person is not going to be communicating with you, right? So
when you say time exchange, so you mean basically a marketplace where I can exchange my time for your time?
Yes. So I can show the platform too, and then explain how it works. So let's say I know Portuguese, okay, and I would love to teach Portuguese to other people, but I also would like to learn Spanish. I don't know how to speak Spanish, right? Or I'd like to teach more about international business, but I also would like to know more about specifics in India, let's say, like specific aspects of India. So in the platform, you can add your experiences or services. It's a service-based platform. We are not exchanging products or any sort of goods, but we are providing services or exchanges where you can give 1 hour of your time, and that hour of your time equals 1 credit. So that 1 credit, when you share your hour, you gain 1 credit. And with that credit, you can request another experience from another user within the platform. And that way we keep growing. So you can share whatever you want. You can share your passions. You can share your skills, your expertise. But then you also can request what you've been needing as any kind of service or knowledge or experience that you would like to have. So in the platform, there are 2 main groups. We've noticed that we have 2 main personas in the platform. We don't categorize all the exchanges like this, but we've noticed a pattern in terms of the personas that we have. And one of the personas are the health and wellness actually community. We may say like this. So they want to exchange experiences like learning a new soft skill or anything related to food, cooking, yoga, meditating, hiking, walking, biking, everything related to health and wellness. This is a big community in the platform. And then the other community that we see being created in the platform are the opportunity seekers, as we call them. So they're actually entrepreneurs, people who are using the platform or to create a business or to grow a business or to learn more skills that will add value to their business. So you can see clearly in the platform, you have lots of people teaching new technologies, coaching, consulting, so many things related to business. So we have users in the platform that had created entire businesses only using time exchange. So
several students would like a clarification. The exchange doesn't have to go between only 2 people. You can sort of offer your services to anyone, get credit, and then use that credit with anyone else. It doesn't have to be just a 2-way street, right?
Well, every time you're exchanging your hour, you're offering your services or experiences to 1 person. You can definitely do that to a group, but your hour is to every single person will equal 1 credit from every single person.
So, and the credit I earn by, for example, helping you, I can use on soliciting help from anyone else. It doesn't have to be directly from you only.
Exactly. No. So it's definitely open. So imagine if you're exchanging money. So if you get paid for that, you can spend your money the way you want. So that's the concept. So for example, we have a story of a person that wanted to get a job in a specific company but didn't have any experience. So he used the platform to be able to provide his hours and gain time credit. Every time he gained time credit, he would gain a review, stars, and he got 50 reviews of 5 stars. So that also allowed him to prove that he had experience and gain the job that he wanted. And also people that use the platform to provide services and also be able to build a website or business cards, everything related to a business so that the business could be real and then the person could be charging money for that too. So there are many different applications for the platform, and I definitely want to be explaining a bit more about that so you guys can understand.
If I may, so there are so many questions going through every channel.
Yes.
One is repetitive too. Is it operating at this time only in the United States, or is it a global platform?
Right. So the platform is global. Now, we are Brazilian, and there is a bias in terms of the number of users that we have the platform in Brazil, because actually we never spent a dime in any kind of advertisement marketing strategy. So our platform grew to 170 users, actually now 180,000 users, only organically. So we grew based on media, on the network effect. So most of the platform, let's say 80% of the people in the platform, they are Brazilian, but they also speak Portuguese, they also speak English. But of course,
yes, several people did ask about the language. So what is the current language of the platform?
Well, English and Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
So we have both. If everyone here listening to this webinar, they definitely speak English. So if you can definitely join the platform, and then you're going to see that everything is also in English, and you can be exchanging in English as well. So you can filter. Every week we are launching more than 10 new features. As a startup company, we are evolving pretty quickly. So one of the new features is really to be filtering the experiences based on language, because we understand that the company is growing really fast in other countries too. And we are focusing on the English-speaking platform, let's say, especially because our investors are from the US. And well, English is definitely a language that's more universal nowadays. But
are you at liberty, several people asking, are you at liberty to disclose some of the numbers, such as how many users are at the platform, how many trades are happening every day? And yes. I'm not sure if those numbers are public, but if they are, could you give us some information?
Yes, so this is the next slide, actually.
Oh, okay,
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
So those of you who are asking students, yes, most of that stuff probably scheduled to be covered anyway.
Yeah, so if you have any other questions, specific questions in terms of the metrics, just definitely send it to me. I tried to add as much information as I could in the challenge. So as I said, we are improving every single day pretty quickly. So the numbers are changing. But of course, I will definitely be very close to you guys. As I said, I know how you feel. I was on the other side of the screen, let's say. So, okay, so this is the overview. So we were created actually in 2013. We are very young. We are a new company. So as the time that I created this website, we had 150,000 users in 2017, and now we have more than 30,000 new users in 1 year. We grew very fast because we were funded. So in the beginning, we were part of a investment initiative and acceleration program in the UK. So the team moved from Brazil to Scotland. So, excuse me, so it was very interesting. Then in 2015, we had the first angel investment round, which was actually when I joined the company as the angel investor. And that happened in Brazil. Then in 2016, we already had global contracts with big companies, such as Unilever, Teva Farm, CPM Assurances. So these companies saw potential in Bliive to be able to create what we call the communities. So they are white label, they use our platform as a white label platform, and then they can create a closed community for each one of these companies. Then we moved to the Google's headquarters. So we stayed there in Google for a year. And then in 2017, we launched our new web platform, where you can see the platform now in English as well. And we were also part of the World Economic Forum in Davos with our first showcase. And then now, this year, which is a very, very important year for us, we're seeking a new angel investment. We already have one investor, which is Salesforce.com, which is one of the biggest IT companies in the world today. We're very proud of that. And the next step is to create our platform that's going to be blockchain powered, because we are not that we want to become a cryptocurrency, but we we are creating a new currency, and we believe that this is the most valuable currency that we have in our lives, which is our time. It can be replaced. We can't make it again. We can't regain time, right? So we are dealing with this platform like that. So we really want to be creating our blockchain platform. So now, as I said, we have 180,000 users. We have more than 1,000 exchanges happening a month. Right now, we are dealing with something that's extremely interesting, and we are still to validate this hypothesis about the number of offers and the number of requests. So we have more than 100,000 experiences offered in the platform, but we had 30,000 requests. So we are still to understand the dynamics of this, but we've noticed that people like to offer more help than to request help. So we're discussing if this is a cultural thing, especially in Brazil, or a Latin culture, or if this is going to be changing in other cultures as we grow, so we can use analytics to be able to exchange the dynamics.
Well, research into platforms shows that it's almost never perfectly symmetrical. So it's almost always, two-sided platforms, you always have a little bit more on one side, more supply or more demand. So what you see, I suppose, it's it's normal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but the difference is really big in our platform. So people love to give more than to request. So we are still to understand that, and of course, I mean, maybe this challenge is going to bring some more new insights. So there is a question here that's very important.
Yeah, which one did you find important? Because I also see one that is very important. Are you?
Yes, yeah. So every set of activity has different credit.
Right. Yeah. So yes, yeah. I'm curious. Yes. Let's say 1 hour of IT services versus 1 hour of, I don't know, just conversations, for example.
Yeah. So our time is always equal, right? 60 minutes will always equal 60 minutes. So that's extremely important. That's one of the core values of our platform. Your hour, it will always equal my hour. It doesn't matter where we come from, what's our background, what's your educational level, like it doesn't matter. So that's where we can literally create a equality by using time as a credit, right? So that's very important to understand.
Could that potentially lead to sort of kind of race to the bottom? So people who offer the least valuable skills will be more motivated to participate than those that offer more valuable skills potentially?
Well, what we believe is that every single person has something to share.
Right.
Something that's very, very important to share, something that's unique, something that just belongs to you. And that's what we really brought to the platform. So in companies, for example, it's very common to have the top leadership exchanging with the entire community or all the employees and contractors, whomever the company decides to invite, equally. And that also gives the opportunity.
Mariana, I think we lost you for a second here. Are you still here? Is it just me or everybody lost the speaker? Could you tell me in the comments? Okay, so I thought it was just my connection. Okay, everybody. All right, well, while we're waiting for the speaker, so let me use this opportunity to talk a little bit about the project in general. So several students asked what's going on now, what's the next step. So here is a quick update. So the early track, as you know, started about 6 weeks ago. There are about 1,300 people in the early track, and so they are well on their way to finishing the project. The late track, and I assume most of you are from the late track, started yesterday. So we have at this time close to 4,000 people. Mariana, you're back here. We lost you for a second.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
Okay, I was explaining how time is equal, right?
Yes. Yeah, we lost only about a minute of your time.
Fantastic. So, but that was a very important explanation too, because we understand that maybe you can be losing people on top of on top levels, let's say, but we definitely need to know that 1 hour always equals 1 hour. It's always like this. However, our level of trust, commitment, and quality can change depending on your expertise. So, well, I was explaining, for example, my example. This is my second MBA. I study a lot. I want to be on top of my class. I want to be one of the best students. I work, since I'm 15 years old, and I have a very high level of trust, commitment, and quality. So in the evolution of our platform, we also want to reward those people who have a very high level of trust, quality, and commitment to be able to have access to other people who have also a high level of quality, commitment, and trust. So this is very important. So as you grow, as you raise your level of trust, commitment, and quality, you will be able also to exchange with other people with that level. So it's not about your where you come from, the money that you have in your bank account, your salary, any of that. It's a combination of factors that will allow you to have access to the best people within the platform in a very fair way.
Several people ask, and I find that question very intriguing, like for example, Onwana from Ghana, can you trade your credits, time credits, for money eventually, or can you buy time credits with money?
No, never. So this is not going to happen. Well, so this is not going to happen, especially because we are creating a blockchain platform to be able to make the exchanges as contracts, right? So we've been receiving lots of proposals of other companies trying to create this as a cryptocurrency because it would be very easy for us to do that, but that's not our value. Whenever we add money to the equation, we are eliminating equality. So that's one of our main core values. And that's not how we make money. We make money in a very different way. And I'm definitely going to be showing you this because that's the second question. So how do you make money?
But just to follow up on that, and that's also the reason then the physical goods cannot be traded. So I cannot buy a bicycle with 3 hours of work, for example, right? So that's not possible.
Well, that's not possible within our platform. We don't encourage that. If people do this, that's not definitely encouraged in our platform. You could, if money is not being exchanged. So yes, that's important to respect in terms of any kind of solution or idea that the students are having. Okay.
So back to Amwana's question, so you cannot really make money from it. So it's only a mutually beneficial exchange, but not really a job where you earn.
No, not it's not a job, or it's not as
like a freelancer website.
Yes, or Upwork, or this is not a freelance platform for sure. Because every time we add value, we're eliminating equality. So that's a very important issue. For example, with platforms such as Upwork, Fiverr, with so many people in other countries, and then they have a common currency, which is dollars, right? And then it limits people from using it and from also entering the platform because money is in it. So in the platform, everyone is equal. So that's...
I'm not sure if it's appropriate to ask questions because some of them relate to what you just said. For example, Solomia here is asking, how do you define a high level of commitment from your users? But there are also a few other questions. Do you track, or do your users have some sort of like a rating or ranking on the website? And does it matter in any way?
Right. So commitment, for example, can be measured in different ways. So let's say, for example, if you use Uber, Uber is the first actually company that brought the sharing economy concept for real in a very scalable way. So if you use Uber, you have a way for you to be ranked, right? And there are some specific metrics. So let's say if you ask for the car, if you're going to complete the ride, if you're going to give a tip, if you're going to behave well in the car. So there are many different ways that Uber measures this. Commitment for us, we can measure, for example, how many days does it take for you to answer a message, Or how many days does it take you to complete an exchange? Or are you completing the exchanges? How many exchanges are you completing? What's the percentage? So we're still creating those measurements because this is going to be launched very soon. So there are many ways that our platform can automatically measure your level of commitment, trust, and quality.
So a related question from Brian Walter then, if someone does not provide an adequate quality service, can you ask for a refund?
Well, at this moment, not really. There's no refund because the person gave them, they are actually giving you their time, right? And then you're providing the credit for that person. That hour existed.
Can I then rate the person, give him like 1 star so people don't use that hour anymore? Is that a possibility?
That could be. We're evolving. So if you guys test the platform and make any kind of suggestions, that's definitely more than welcome.
It seems to me those who do, provide a good service, their hour can be, if not worth more credits, then at least, be more sought after, just because, we know that that person can pack more in an hour. Yes. Versus maybe some slacker who doesn't.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so this is exactly what we are working on right now. Probably by the end of the challenge, you're definitely going to see this working really well. As I said, so we are launching at least 10 new features every week. So we are really working on that. So, but that's important to know. Mm-hmm. Well, so just wanted to move to the business models because This is very important for you guys. So let me just share my screen again because I lost it. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So you can see here, right? So
yes.
I just wanted you to ignore the hotspots, and this is not included in the challenge because we are not going to be focusing on this in 2 years. We are focusing on the 3 business models here that you can see. This is where we are going to be focusing. So we have 2 B2B business models. So 2 business to business models and 1 business to consumer model. And this is how the company is profitable. So this is one of the first questions that I got. How do you make money? So this is how we do it. All right. So the first model is what we call the communities. So it's a white label platform that we create for other companies, universities, or NGOs. Every big community can use Bliive as a platform. Okay. So in this platform here, a company can hire us to create a closed community. So people that will join this community is only people that will be invited by this company. So for example, CPM Assurances uses our platform, and then here they have employees, they also have contractors, and they also have some other stakeholders. So they add clients, there are other people that they invite to this community, and we have more than 800 people exchanging every single day. Okay, so here, what is very important for companies is that here we can create amazing analytics for them in terms of what is the human potential that they truly have within their companies. In Bliive, people love to share what they adore, their passions, what they are truly interested in doing, what they're truly interested in sharing. And here, we can see really the true potential that the company has. So we will know who will be able to do a specific training, who will be able to share the story of the company, who has a specific skill. And this is a very important tool for human resources and also marketing. All right, so we are improving every single day the dashboard that we are providing for companies about this. We can track, for example, how people within a team is exchanging, how teams are exchanging within themselves. What is the team that's the most required? What's the skill that's the most requested? What's the skill that's most offered? So you can see the gaps and measure also the gaps within the communities, which is very interesting. We really want to validate the platform in universities. So this is an amazing opportunity for you guys. If you see that your university can implement Bliive in a department or within the university, this is very interesting. We are talking right now with University of Brasilia UNB in Brazil, which is one of the top universities in Brazil, and where I actually graduated. And also we are talking with Cornell. So that's one of the ways of doing that. And this is also, community is also used for companies to donate time credits for NGOs. So that's another exchange that can happen. Companies usually have had lots of challenges to implement corporate social responsibility programs. So Bliive is a very interesting way for doing that. So employees or companies can donate hours to NGOs who can exchange within the platform with whatever they want to whatever they need. So the pricing model here is a SaaS pricing model. So this is also important for you to know. We have a setup fee and then a monthly recurring fee for companies based on the number of employees. All right. So, so this is what the communities are about.
Right.
Okay. So, and then also we have the API licensing. So the API licensing means that companies will be able to use Bliive as a widget or adding Bliive in their current existing platform. So let's use Salesforce as an example. So there are millions and millions of people using Salesforce today. And maybe they don't want to be implementing a new platform to be able to map skills, talents, and also match people within the organization. So we are creating an API that will be able to connect Bliive within this existing organization. And that's why you really see Bliive as an ecosystem that can be used in so many different ways. So that's very important for you guys also to know. And then here we are creating an AI integration. So we are using machine learning to be able to use a bot to be able to match people based on their needs and also their potential, right? So this is the B2B model. And then the B2C model is exactly our platform that's open to every single one of you. So if you join the platform, you're definitely going to see that you can join the platform and then you can start using it. Every single person that joins the platform will gain 5 time credits immediately, so you can get started exchanging and requesting services. And then as you keep exchanging your hours, then you can gain more time credits, right? Mm-hmm. And this platform here is very interesting because we also create many different partnerships with it. So right now we are creating a partnership that we are going to renovate an entire building only using time as a currency. The entire community is going to get together to renovate this building in Atlanta, here in the US, with no time in the equation. So we're very excited about that. And we expect to have more than 2 million users by the end of this project, which is going to happen in 6 months.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And it's a big project. We are definitely going to have more news about that. And as I do, I will definitely share with you guys. Mm-hmm. So as we have 2 million people in the platform, we are going to trigger what we call the premium membership. So that means having access to the people that with the highest level of quality, commitment, and trust, having more hours to trade, having more benefits. So we are also working on that. So those are our 3 models, the 3 revenue models that we have.
Lots of questions. Can we go into the questions and answers? Amanda is asking about security checks. So for example, going to a stranger's house to teach them how to paint seems a little dangerous. Do you do any background checks?
We don't do any background checks in the platform, as people, well, actually this is so interesting because this is about also the hotspots. So in the platform, you can definitely know if the person is legit or not because the person has already exchanges. We are also creating now a new feature that's going to add video stream and also voice calls in the platform, so you don't need to be using Zoom or Skype or whatever, so that you can use the platform to do the exchange virtually. Many people do the exchanges also in person, and then you also have the ratings for you to make sure that the person is legit. Right. Now, the hotspots, which is actually the one that I hided, but it's real, it comes exactly from this need of people having a safe place to exchange. So many establishments already asked us to make their establishment as a hotspot for people that use Bliive to make exchanges. So they know that they can go to a specific place that is safe to be able to exchange. But we are not focusing on this right now.
Jacqueline is asking, is joining the platform free of charge?
Yes, absolutely. It's totally free.
Okay.
No money in the equation. not for the B2C, but companies will purchase the platform.
Yeah. Many students also asked about your competition. So who are your competitors? Somebody is asking if Beta Trade is a competitor. So can you tell us a little bit more about the industry?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
You have a separate slide. Okay.
Well, I do, but actually, no, there is one that's better, which is the one that I shared with you guys. Let me just open this.
The idea seems so great and even so obvious at the same time. I cannot believe that somebody else didn't think about it. I'm curious who else is playing in this market, and then who are the biggest players, and why this has not become a big thing yet. So How come we only hear about it now? I mean, it seems like it should have been around for years now.
Yes, it's been well, I actually have something better in terms of the, let me just stop my, as I find here the slide, we can have other questions too, just because there is a specific.
There is also, so yeah, in general, a question about competition, but also in terms of geography. So you said that most of the users at this time are either from Brazil or from the United States. I assume you are very open to the idea of expanding into new markets, and people from all kinds of countries are welcome to participate. Yeah. And then several people are asking, so do you have any specific countries that you are most interested in? Many students are also asking about their specific countries, like, for example, at this time I see Ghana, India. So are you interested in those markets? So tell us more about your geography, current and in the future.
Great question. So, well, actually, we have more than 80 countries in the platform. We are very broad in terms of that. But of course, the mass is still in Brazil, just because we never really focused on a marketing strategy or anything like that. We are extremely interested in emerging markets. We own them. That let's say we feel it. We know that we have a very important way to improve purchasing power, and not only emerging, but every single country who has the potential to do that. We are doing this through technology. So even in Africa, so many opportunities right now in Africa, definitely the continent to be looking at, the biggest frontier economy. So we are really willing to have partners or people or universities. We truly believe that we can do this with universities too, or companies that could be a strategic partner for us to expand. The platform is easily scalable, so
and that brings us to the next question. So in terms of entry mode, so I understand that you can sort of enter the market, or people from other countries can start participating directly. So an individual in some, I don't know, in Germany, for example, can just create an account and start using it. But at the same time, when you move into new countries, would it be preferred, or would it be possible to have local partners? You mentioned some NGOs and universities. Would that be a preferred mode, or is it always better to work directly with the people?
Well, that's one of the questions that we have for the challenge, for sure, because we understand that every single market has a specific needs, and we can solve so many issues, so many problems. For example, there is another problem, the unbanked. So many people are unbanked. They don't have a bank. They can't have access to a bank. And Bliive is definitely a solution for that. So depending on the priority of the country, definitely Bliive is a way to go. We do have people from other countries and people who are fluent in English, and also other Portuguese-speaking countries, right? That they can have access to so many people, so many skills, so many expertise, without having to use their money that doesn't have any relevance. Let's say in terms of dollars, they don't have value, but they can have access to the platform. So That's one of the questions that we definitely have for the students. What's the best entry mode? And what is the best strategy? What's the need? What's the problem that Bliive can solve in that country? We do see a lot of potential in partnerships. That's definitely the way that we've been growing all the way, and also with the media. So it's all organic growth. We see a great potential to have partners that maybe can bring Bliive and then expand the platform. We also have the challenge that we would love to share our part of our contracts with the students. But most importantly, we would love to see the world map and a pin in every single country and our contribution to that country with our platform. That's very important for us. So we would be very open to that.
Now, a lot of questions about your marketing, but we didn't finish competition. Maybe let's finish competition and then move into the marketing.
Yeah. So this is the competitive landscape, and that's important for you guys to know. So there are basically 3 companies that used the concept. So Time Banks is the US, is a nonprofit, so it's an NGO that was founded in 1995. Then here, people have to download a software to join communities. The software is free, and it's only located in the US. So I joined. I couldn't download the software. I couldn't really engage with them, so I don't know if they're still operating. But that was the oldest, let's say, company that tried to implement this concept. Echo is another one. It's a marketplace of services, skills, and resources based on time exchange. The membership is free, and it's located in London. So I tried to log in. I tried to join, but I couldn't because it was specifically for London. So I couldn't be able to do that. And Time Republic was founded in 2012 in Switzerland. The platform has 100,000 users, but I also didn't see any new updates. So they are operating, but not in our specific business model. So that's what I have here in the slide. So we are definitely the only time exchange platform that provides B2B solutions that can be scalable. And in fact, we are the largest time exchange platform in the world for sure. There's nothing else. If you find any other thing going on, please let us know, because
there may be some local, perhaps in some markets, maybe some local platforms that people may know. So, and obviously for the students, when you find some competition, it would be very helpful if you did some analysis as to, strength and weaknesses of each of those. Are there any features or ideas that can be borrowed, or maybe some things that can be done better? So definitely, I think that would be very useful.
Absolutely.
So marketing then, how do you currently promote your platform? What kind of populations do you target? What kind of advertisements you use? A lot of questions about that. I'm not going to name all the names, but tell us more about your marketing efforts and strategy.
Okay, so that's good, because we've never done any marketing strategy whatsoever so far, which is interesting because I come from this background, but we never really needed. So of course, we have a very important presence in social media. We won many awards in the past, so we grew organically by that too. So in our plan, we are definitely focusing a lot on social media, because we want to be a global platform, and definitely that's how we are targeting people. Through partnerships, that's very, very important. So for example, this renovation of the building that we are going to be doing, it's in partnership with a huge online platform, and I just cannot disclose this right now, but you're definitely going to know about this before the end of the project. Excuse me. So that's what we want to be doing, focusing on partnerships with very large online communities, focusing on social media for sure. Right now, we are finalizing the new platform that we are doing with a futuristic agency. So they are recreating our brand, our colors, our visual platform, everything that's going to be updated. So you may see changes in a month or so. And that's how we're going to be doing this. It's not going to be a local specific strategy. That's not going to work because I'm in Florida, Lohana in San Francisco, the team is in Brazil, we have partners in Europe. That's not going to work. It needs to be global in a way.
Yeah. One thing, if I may say here for the students, so they will be working on the marketing strategy and will be given suggestions based on my experience with the past semesters and challenges. It is very important that you are detailed in your suggestions. Too often we see suggestions that go like this: use social media and advertise on Facebook. This is a useless advice, and it's useless because it's not detailed enough to be actionable. There is absolutely no doubt that the company has thought about advertising on Facebook. So that's nothing new and nothing original. So when the way to become useful is to provide many more details. So review the platforms that you're suggesting. Provide maybe some guidelines on how to place ads there, how much they will cost, what an ad might look like, why you would use this type of the ad versus another one. Why would it be, for example, a video versus a picture, a lead generation versus a shop now, or all kinds of different ads that they offer. Maybe time of the day when they should be offered. Maybe the types of the audiences that should be selected. So once you provide all those details, that's when it becomes more useful. Simply saying advertise on social media, I mean, that's not much enough. At the same time, when you will be thinking about those questions, it will be a good exercise for you too. I'm not sure how many of you have tried to do ads, for example, on YouTube or on Facebook. So it would be a useful exercise for you to figure out, or to go and see what kind of ads they have and think about which one would be most suitable and how much money should be spent on it. And maybe even trying to make some projections as to, that's the cost and that's the expected benefits. So try to think about those details to make it more informative for the company, because otherwise it will be a correct advice, but not an actionable one. So think about those things. And also I would recommend students, again, keep in mind that the best advice usually, or the best ideas are usually the ones that are, how should I put it, sort of free. So in many cases, people say, oh, advertise on TV. Well, that's a good idea, but it costs a lot of money. And at the same time, the audience is so broad that maybe it would be a little, waste of money. And sometimes we get ideas from students that do not cost anything, and at the same time go directly to the audience that we are trying to target. So maybe there is some sort of a conference in your country where people who are interested in this stuff attend. Or maybe there is some sort of a mailing list that is free, but at the same time targets people who potentially could be the customers for the client. So always think about those interesting and clever ways to reach the target audience without spending much or maybe anything. So that's when it becomes really interesting. So saying a cool ad campaign on TV, well, yes, but how much will it cost? Is it the best use of the money? So definitely.
Yeah, I highly suggest students just to look at the marketing strategies of very large SaaS companies today. So, and also social media itself. So let's say Facebook or Instagram or whatever, not that Bliive is a social media, but it behaves very similarly because of the network effect. So the network effect is really when a user adds the platform, because the user is going to gain so much value from the existing platform already, from the existing users, that he wants to join and he wants to invite everyone else to join. That's what happened with our platform. If you think about how long we've been in the market, we grew in 1 year and a half basically to almost 150,000 users with zero marketing spent. That's very important for you to know. So some new strategies can definitely pop up. Let's say, for example, a PR partnership. So focusing on public relations maybe, or partnerships with local and very important companies or communities. Well, just think about that. And even if you want to suggest a specific target, let's say Ghana, right, which is an amazing example. Definitely, the example for Ghana can work for so many other countries in Africa, and that's where we really want to be looking at. And even India is such a big market, and we have so many people from India already wanting Bliive to be there. But how are we going to be implementing that? What's the biggest problem that Bliive can solve in India. Maybe it's not the B2B platform. All right, guys. So maybe it's not the communities, but maybe it's something that can be created through a university or an NGO, or even open to users. So that's where we really want you to be focusing on. What does my nation really need, or what does that market really need? How can bringing time as a currency can solve a big problem that we have here?
Mm-hmm.
Purchasing power? Is this the unbanked? Is this the lack of knowing the human resources that exist? What is that? Is this the need for support to NGOs?
Yeah.
So that's a very important way for you to also see what's the mission of our company, and that's one thing that you definitely should be thinking about.
Yeah. Two more very interesting questions that I would like to ask. So Frasco is asking if you need to have credits to get a service. What if somebody has 0 credits and still wants to get a service? And you did mention before that you have more people who offer services than people who use services. So it almost seems like maybe that, need to have credits before you can use services prevents people from using them more. So is there a way to perhaps maybe buy some initial credits or some other way to approach it?
When you join the platform, everyone gains 5-time credits.
So you get some for free in a sense.
Yes, you gain 5-time credits so that you can get started exchanging.
That's not bad. Okay.
Yes, exactly, because it's a mutual exchange platform, and it's all about collaboration. So if you're in the platform and you're only using it, requesting, where is the giving? So it's the giving and sharing. That's an exchange. We definitely have to focus on that. An exchange can only exist with both people together. And it's very common for you to share something with the other person and realize that the person has something that you really need. And it just happened with me. So one of the exchanges that I have is how to get the job that you really want through an interview. Right. And that's my share. And the person requested that share for me. And then the person...
Maybe our students can ask for help with reviewing their work and providing an unbiased feedback on their draft before they submit it. Why not?
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. But then I realized that this person was offering like singing lessons, not to sing, but to improve your voice. And that's something that I really, really need. And I was like, oh my God, so let's change. Like 1 hour, I'm going to share with you how to get the job that you want, with some interview tips. And the other one, you're going to teach me how to improve my voice. So because I do lots of webinars, I'm also always like, so you see, I'm almost losing my voice. So it was just so funny because we can always relate to the other person. There's always something that the other person has to offer. And it's very amazing to see. Yeah.
Several questions related to the legal side, taxes, certifications. I assume that is not really an issue, but I mean, technically you're exchanging goods and services or services. And so it's sort of a barter here, but I mean, do you ever have to deal with the issues of taxations, for example, or sales taxes or income tax?
No, that's amazing, right? That's one of the benefits also of using the platform. There's no money, no currency whatsoever. So it's free. It's free of any kind of boundaries. So the only boundary could be location, which technology can be a solution, but technology can also be a boundary depending on the market. So fortunately today we're evolving so fast in this matter. So hopefully this is not going to be an issue for the majority of the population soon. So that's the thing. And then also important to know that our company is incorporated in the US. Very important now to know. So we are incorporated in Delaware, and whatever revenue stream that you guys are going to predict, it needs to be based on the US regulations. This is a SaaS model. This is very important. So as a technology company, all revenues and sales taxes, whatever, needs to be based on the US. We are not going to create one office in specific countries. And that's something that people have to take into consideration when analyzing the legal system of each country. a country that doesn't require us to have a corporation, doesn't require us to incorporate in a specific country.
If I may, one more time, so many students
Yes.
ask about that, and we briefly talked about it, but so what are your sources of revenue? Do you place ads on the platform? Do you get some membership or sponsorship from the organizations that participate? So where do you get your revenue from if no money is involved in the exchanges?
Yeah, so the revenue sources are the slide that I shared with you guys. So just let me go back to that. And you also have this in the challenge. Okay, so the communities where companies will be paying a monthly fee for us, a recurring monthly fee to be able to use the platform depending on the number of users that they have, right? So that's how we get paid. Mm-hmm. The API licensing, this is also going to be a recurring fee.
But it's only the organizations that pay, so the individual users get it completely free of charge.
Yes, exactly. So now the premium membership, which is the B2C model that we are going to be launching once the platform has 2 million users, they will be able to pay. Yes. Yeah, so they will be able to pay a small fee every single month to be able to have access to other features of the platform. So we are still creating this, but that's how users will be paying for this small fee. We realize actually that we have, like, from the platform, 3% today of the platform, they are heavy users. So they had exchanged more than 100 times within the platform. So imagine the value that you got from learning, from getting more than 100 hours without any money being involved in the equation, right? So these users, they can be paying a small fee, and this fee we are predicting that's going to be $5.99 per month to be able to have more access to other people, more credits available, and other benefits, and being on the top of the listings. So that's how users like us will be paying for the membership.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Well, we're pretty much out of time, so yes. Here's what I suggest we do then. So for students, if you have any questions that are not answered, obviously you can send your questions to the admin@xculture.org account, and we will forward them to the company. And then maybe towards the end of the semester, we will look in a possibility of organizing another webinar with Bliive. So at that time, students will have worked on it for a while, and so they will have some more information, some questions. Maybe we'll ask for feedback, and so we'll try to do that a few weeks before the end of the project, if that's okay with you.
Awesome. Yes. So some people are asking for the slides, but actually most of the content here, actually all the content is in the challenge. So
right.
I made sure to add the pictures and also the revenue streams and the key information. You can
but if you would like to share anything, we can add it to the challenge. But yes, pretty much all of that information is already in the challenge instructions. There is only one thing that I wanted to add before we go. So for most of you, the project started yesterday. So we still have a few hundred people who have not passed the readiness test. And so once you pass it, we will be forming teams every day this week. So if some of you are not on teams yet, if you didn't receive your email yesterday with the names of your team members, once you pass the test, you will get probably placed on a team within 24 hours or so. And then, so your next step is to get in touch with your team members. Let us know if you've heard from all of them. Then next week, all you have to do is just to get to know each other. But then a week after, you will have to select a client company out of the list of 15. I personally find Bliive to be a very interesting platform, so I hope many of you will choose this company. And then, yes, once you have chosen the client, you just go question by question, and you will have until the end of the semester to write your reports. And so for you, Mariana, not much will be happening, I guess, during the semester other than occasional questions. But then at the end of the semester, once we have all the reports, we will send you the whole stack of the reports. It may be a lot, so we'll see how popular it is, but you may thousands of pages of information. And
I hope so.
Hopefully there will be many good ideas in there.
Yeah. Yes, we're very excited to be working with you guys and to hear from you and learning from you. Yeah. We really want to be understanding more different markets. So it will be very, very important. So I'm extremely available for you guys. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, Baz, if they can.
We'll send you, yeah, we'll communicate by email. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And then we have another webinar tomorrow, but so I'll probably see some of you tomorrow then.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mariana.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.